Perhaps one of the hottest topics in Elden Ring has always been rune farming and the best methods or locations to easily farm a metric ton of runes. There are countless farming videos for you to choose from, even some that claim you can grab 2 million runes in 30 seconds, but can you really during your first playthrough? Today we're going to be taking a comprehensive look at rune farming from the best gear and consumables all the way to the best farming locations and how to plan your glide path to utilize each of these methods during your progression. We'll also be putting to rest some myths about rune farming and debunking some comments about how many of these methods are patched or don't work. So let's get ready to take an honest look at rune farming in 2023, tell Melina nobody's perfect, and get after it. The best course of action you can take if you're looking to grab a fair amount of easy levels right after popping open the door to Limgrave is to grab Torrent and head over to the Third Church of Marika. As you can see from the map footage, you can follow the main road that runs through the heart of Limgrave, which drops you off on the church's doorstep. If it's your first time in the church, there are a few pieces of important loot you can pick up, one of the most important being the Flask of Wondrous Physic. However, for this guide, your target location lies behind the church, where with just a small amount of searching, you'll come across an active portal that'll whisk you away to a far corner in Caelid called Grael's Dragon Barrow. Once you come through the portal, you'll need to head to the southeast for about 800 meters where you'll encounter a dragon guarding a bridge. While it's not the only route to take to your destination, as you can see from the map footage, it is the most direct one. The dragon may seem imposing, but you can ride past it on Torrent without having to fight it. After passing the dragon, you can turn left towards Lens Rise and safely jump down the Spirit Spring just past the abandoned graveyard. The graveyard does have a few things you can pick up if you want to take time to do a little grave robbing, and once at the bottom you can activate the Lens Rise side of Grace and start your rune farming progression with the ever famous Ball Farm. This farm is perfect when starting out since you don't need any specific weapons, just a bit of fancy riding skills to drift Torrent away from the Magic Stone Boulder and rinse and repeat the process. It's really as simple as riding Torrent down the path to the west, and once you see the magical light of the ball appearing, just deftly ride out of the way and back up the hill. After about an hour of rune farming, as the levels start to slow down and you start becoming a bit more powerful, you can head back to Limgrave and pick up a few things for the next phase of your rune farming operation. As numbers go, the Ball Farm will net you 1,952 runes per run, and once dialed in, you can expect about 235,920 runes per hour. With some choice farming gear and consumables, the most you can expect is just over 500,000 runes per hour, which isn't too bad not having to fight for them. After leveling up a bit, you can head back into Limgrave, and as you can see from the map footage, the next step in your rune farming progression will be to head over to Murkwater Cave, where you'll need to pick up a rather unique cookbook. It is important to note that you'll be invaded by Bloodyfinger Nergis, and you'll need to defeat him before gaining access to the cave. The cave is fairly small, and once you've reached its end, you'll run into the NPC patches. If you've played Armored Core or other Soul Series games, you've likely run into some form of the infamous Patches, who always tries to dispatch you in the most cowardly way and then begs for his life when you stomp him into the dirt. This form is no different, and after beating him within inches of his life, he'll surrender and become a merchant once the area is reset. Patches not only sells a few gold pickled foul feet, which when used gives you a 30% boost to runes gained for 3 minutes, but he also sells the Missionary Cookbook Volume 2, which gives you the ability to craft your own if you purchase the crafting kit from the merchant Kali. After purchasing the cookbook, we'll need a few ingredients, and as you can see from the map footage, we'll be traveling to the Mistwood outskirts where we can farm a ton of gold fireflies in a short amount of time. After materializing at the side of Grace, you can hop on Torrent and travel southeast into the Mistwood, where you'll discover a small pond that's littered with the desired ingredient. If you're enjoying the video so far and found some value in it, dropping a like really helps out the channel, and for more content like this, you can hit the subscribe button as well. After picking up the fireflies, you can make a return trip and rinse and repeat this process for a never-ending supply. Our next stop will be the Weeping Peninsula, and as you can see from the map footage, our start point for this incursion will be the Fourth Church of Marika, where we'll be hunting down flocks of birds for their four-toed feet. Once your boots touch ground in the church, you can hop over the broken southern wall and travel west, dropping down a couple times to the beach below. From the beach, you'll need to travel a short distance to the east to an area that's littered with birds that you can farm for an endless supply of four-toed feet, which are a rare necessity for crafting a gold pickled foulfoot. There are a few other areas you can farm for this ingredient, but they're far more time consuming than this one. Whatever weapon of choice you use, one of the easiest ways is to utilize the bow from horseback to dispatch the birds quickly and from a distance. Once they're all dead, you can ride around and loot up all the bodies before fast traveling back to the church in order to repeat the process. The last ingredient is roa fruit, which can be found and farmed quickly in quite a few areas across the lands between. However, one of the best places lies in Liurnia of the Lakes. And as you can see from the map footage, we'll be heading to Jarburg, which is a small village hidden at the base of the cliffs on the eastern edge of Liurnia. Jarburg not only offers an area that's rich with roa fruit, but there are quite a few other ingredients you can easily pick up while farming. You can quickly ride around on Torrent, collecting flowers and fruit, and reset at Jarburg's Site of Grace for repeated runs. With enough ingredients to craft the golden falfeet en masse, we'll head over to Pickled, where we'll collect the last piece of the rune boost puzzle before we progress on to our next farming location, which does yield a boatload of runes. For this phase of the operation, we'll be heading over to the Smoldering Wall Site of Grace in order to grab the golden scarab, which, as you can see from the map footage, is located in a cave that's far off natural lines of drift, and it's been abandoned for quite some time. After traveling to the east and handrailing the burning wall, you'll need to utilize Torrent to hop over a small ravine to the mouth of the cave, and once inside, you'll need to brave a few rivers of scarlet rot in order to make it to the end of the small dungeon to confront its boss. Scarlet rot is perhaps one of the worst status effects, and it's far more annoying than Common Core math, so be prepared for a bit of frustration if it's your first time dealing with it. After passing through the fog gate, you'll have to face down a pair of clean rot knights, which can be kept busy by utilizing a summon of your choice while you deliver damage or recover from some. One consumable you may want to pick up prior to undertaking this mission is Preserving Boluses, which alleviates scarlet rot buildup along with curing rot completely. After bringing down both knights, you'll be rewarded with the golden scarab, which increases runes gained by 20%. With the scarab and a handful of falfeet in your inventory, we'll progress over to Pickled to take advantage of a small exploit involving Elder Dragon Grail. And as you can see from the map footage, we'll be starting out at the Fort Faroth Site of Grace. This particular rune farming method not only requires a weapon that causes hemorrhage, it also requires just a bit of respawn exploitation to get the job done. All you need to do is head over to the Dragon's Tail section and swing away, letting the hemorrhage buildup do most of the real damage to kill this ancient dragon. Once the dragon dies, you have a few seconds to ride Torrent back over to the nearby Site of Grace, where you can quickly reset, allowing you to gain the runes and resetting the dragon in his resting place. There are a few folks that claim that it doesn't work and you need to kill all the smaller dragons to get the runes from it, but just because you can't get it to work doesn't mean it doesn't work. And since the footage was recorded today, I'd say it works just fine. If you're dialed in and eating your pickled falfoot in a timely manner, you can expect each kill to net you 78,000 runes with the golden scarab and the pickled falfoot running concurrently. Since it takes around 3 minutes per kill with hemorrhage on your side, you can expect about 1.5 million runes per hour. After you've exhausted your patience and levels start to slow down a bit exploiting the dragon, the Whiteface Var quest should be your next stop. Var's quest can be completed online or offline, and while it's a bit in depth, we'll give you the Cliff Notes version of it and leave you a link in the description if you need a more detailed explanation. After talking to Var, you can head to Stormvale and put an end to Godric's madness, and then return to Var for further instructions. He'll have you speak with the Two Fingers, and after that's complete, he'll leave you an emote along with a message to meet him in Liurnia at the Rose Church. After your conversation, he'll provide you with a stack of bloody fingers you can use to invade other players online or to invade an NPC whose red summon sign can be found in Altus Plateau. Whether you choose the online or offline option, the quest will progress whether you win or lose, so if you can't beat the NPC or other players, you don't have to rage quit since the quest progression is primarily based on using the fingers Varre provided you. In any event, as long as you use 3 of the bloody fingers, you can speak to Varre at the Rose Church in order to continue the questline. After meeting back up with him, he'll have one last task for you, which is to soak a cloth that he provides in Maiden's Blood, which can be accomplished in a few ways. Maiden's Blood can be found in the Church of Inhibition, which lies just above the Frenzied Flame Village, or within the Chapel of Anticipation, which can be reached through the 4 belfries. Once the Maiden's located, you'll be prompted to soak the cloth, which can be returned to Varre for quest completion, opening the doors to what is arguably the best rune farming spot in the game. After using the Pureblood Knight's medal received for quest completion, you'll be transported to Mogwyn's Palace, where you can get some serious leveling accomplished. Mogwyn's Palace is home to not only the 2 best farming methods in the game, it's also fairly broken, allowing for quite a few places to jump out of the map to glitch runes as well. But that's a story for another time, and before you think to yourself that they've all been patched, that's not exactly the case. After all, where there's a will, there's a way. For now, we'll be heading across some dangerous territory in order to get to the Palace Approach Ledge side of Grace, which, as you can see from the map footage, skirts around a lake of blood, and while the trek may seem difficult, it's nothing you and Torrent can't handle. This particular side of Grace is the main side of Grace for the next farming method, which also requires you to have some sort of projectile offense in your repertoire. Today's weapon of choice is the bow, and all this method requires you to do is shoot a large bird across the way, which gains enough aggro to have him chase you off the nearby ledge. With enough arrows in hand, you can just reset at the side of Grace and rinse and repeat this method endlessly. Worried that the bird won't fall? One of the signs that the bird is on his way over the ledge is when it spreads its wings in the air, which gives you the green light to reset at the side of Grace. With the golden Scarab equipped and a gold Foulfoot consumable running in the background, you'll net 17,219 runes every time the bird takes the plunge. And with a decent pace over the course of an hour, you can grab 6,198,840 runes, which isn't bad for sniping a bird. If 6 million runes isn't disco enough for you, from that same side of Grace, you have the option to farm the hill after you've progressed enough in the game to grab a suitable weapon for the job. However, of all the weapons you can use, none hold a candle to the Sacred Relic Sword when it comes to this method. By utilizing the Wave of Gold skill, you can quickly wipe out the hill and reset at the side of Grace over and over until you've either reached boredom or the level you're shooting for. Just one swipe at the top of the hill will net you 40,810 runes, allowing you to turn back and quickly reset to grab up to 201,500 runes per minute. And if you crush it for an hour, you'll net just over 12 million runes, which is a boatload for your first playthrough. Well folks, it looks like we're coming to the end of another Elden Ring video as we look forward to compiling all the rune farming glitches in the game that still work so we can deliver you some more interesting content. And since it's summer, we'll get some gym tanning and laundry out of the way as well. We would like to take this time to personally thank you for watching, and if you're new to the channel and haven't done so already, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any new mid-40s gamer content. And if you aren't too busy wondering why sloths can hold their breath longer than dolphins, leave us a comment in the comment section and let us know how we can improve the next video for you. So until next time, just remember, peanut butter can be turned into diamonds, the Three Musketeers candy bar used to come in 3 different flavors, and as always, good hunting.